I'm here on Gilligan's Isle.
Gilligan!
Skipper, what happened to your hat?
You're using it for bait.
I'll get it back for you, Skipper. Don't worry. Here we go.
Gilligan! You idiot!
You guys are hilarious! Encore! Encore! Yeah!
Who are you?
I'm Alf, your biggest fan. I worship the sand you walk on.
Welcome to a very special podcast. This is the podcast where we watch a television series and then discuss it over a bottle of wine. And it's usually 2 different bottles of wines because we are in remote areas of the world. Well, country, I guess. And tonight I am sipping from a lovely bottle of Calpejo Cabernet Sauvignon, all imported all the way from Chile.
Oh, fancy.
And it was a whopping $12.99.
I'm drinking a kinky cocktail, which is a malt beverage.
It's like bottled, right? You didn't actually like concoct it.
No, it's a bottled.
Cocktails. Oh. All right. I'm Patrick M. Dunn. You might remember me from the previous episodes of a very special podcast. I'm joined here tonight by Kat Halstead, the author. And in the last couple of weeks, we did a movie and we did a music video. And then before that, we did kind of like Halloween-themed things. So we're kind of like back into the groove now, like back into the regular way things are.
We're back to our regularly scheduled program.
Yes, like the holiday season is over. And, you know, we're getting kind of back to normal. Although we're recording this like in the middle of October. So like technically Halloween hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Even though you've like probably listened to 4 episodes about Halloween and 5, actually, I think didn't we like threw an extra one in there for some reason.
I lost count. I lost track. I don't even know what we've done.
So now we're back in the 80s. Actually, we never really left the 80s, but we're there and we're doing America's favorite alien sitcom, Alf.
I love Alf. Alf was my favorite as a child.
Like, did you have like the toys and puppets and records and other miscellaneous swag?
Actually, like, I don't remember having any, like, Alf toys, but I remember watching Alf. And I remember, like, whenever Alf was on, I had to watch it. Like, even if it meant I had to watch it on the little black and white TV in my parents' bedroom. Because my grandfather and grandmother were watching something in the living room.
They were watching, like, Dynasty or something.
I would watch Alf. Who knows? Whatever it was that was on at the same time.
Highway to Heaven or something. Stairway to Heaven. What was it called?
Highway to Heaven.
Yeah, I think
Michael Landon.
I think I'm confusing the TV show with the Led Zeppelin song right now. Because it was definitely a something to heaven.
Yeah, it was Highway to Heaven.
Highway to Heaven. I've never seen Highway to Heaven. What is the premise of the show?
I honestly don't know.
Is it like a Touched by an Angel-esque?
Let's find out. Okay, Google. What is Highway to Heaven?
According to Wikipedia, Highway to Heaven is an American television drama series which ran on NBC from 1984 to 1989.
Okay, that doesn't tell me what it's about.
Do ask like an episode summary, like say like season 1, episode 1.
Well, its genre is supernatural family drama.
It was probably like Touched by an Angel, like he has to do something magical for somebody every episode, and it was probably awful.
Jonathan Smith is an angel sent down to Earth on probation. He meets and pairs up with his human partner and friend, Mark Gordon. Jonathan and Mark are given assignments by the boss, God, where they are required to use their humanity and sometimes a bit of the stuff when needed to help various troubled souls overcome their problems. Yeah, it's like Touched by an Angel.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I think that's just a premise that they just, like, continue. Like, it'll just, until the end of time, there'll just always be a show like that on the air.
It'll always pop up.
Yeah, it's like, and it's the reason why the Hallmark Channel exists for shows just like that.
No, there's Christian channels now that have their own programming.
So it's like Kirk Cameron-based shows.
Yeah, it's like the stuff Kirk Cameron would be on.
So tonight there's a very violent storm here in Massachusetts.
And that's why your electricity keeps going out?
Well, we've decided it's one of two things. Either the ghost from the previous podcast is after me, or it's the storm. I don't know. I haven't seen enough evidence of a ghost yet, though.
Well, just be careful what you ask for.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. Well, I promise I won't make fun of the dead Cat Halstead in tonight's episode. In fact, we will praise her. This will be a special in memoriam to her, so may you rest in peace and not Pazuzu me. All right, but this week we watched Elf. The classic season 2 episode. I think the episode is called Somewhere Over the Rerun. The Ballad of Gilligan's Island. Well, one thing about Alf I'll have to say is the Tanner family wears very bright and colorful clothes.
They're very 80s.
Like the youngest son, Brian, he has like a neon blue and orange shirt with like a fish cartoon on it.
Yeah, it was like a tropical Hawaiian shirt. I think that's what he and Alf were going for.
Because they were watching Gilligan's Island on TV, so they were trying to like recreate that scene of like they were trying to like act like they were in the South Pacific or wherever the Gilligan's Island was.
They wanted to be on Gilligan's Island. They wanted to be as close to as possible if that meant drilling holes in coconuts and drinking from them.
And try to convince Kate, the mom, to make coconut cream pies.
Yeah.
Like Marianne makes.
Like, I don't know if you think she could actually make, though, on that stupid... I'm always like, where did she get the flour and the fat to make the pie crust and the sugar? Like, how did they really survive if you think about it?
Yeah, because, like, I've seen every episode of Lost, and they had a hard time at first, like, living on that island.
Yeah.
Like, they ran out of food, like, by episode 3, and they had to try to kill, like, wild boars, and the only one who could do it was John Locke, and... Mm-hmm. There's only like 6 people on Gilligan's Island, and none of them were John Locke-like.
They had the professor make a radio out of coconuts.
Like, they can make TVs, they can make radios, they can, like, recreate modern technology, but no one was good at, like, no one was a hunter, or even a gatherer, like, because Gilligan just, like, completely would screw it up every time.
Yeah.
And then you had, like, 2, like, rich people that just, like, they pretended that they were still rich, even though they were marooned on an island.
They're on deserted island, and they're just like, whatever. Oh, Gilligan, darling, fan us, please.
Yeah, we're old.
We're old and we're wealthy, and you're still beneath us, even though we're all here on this island.
We have nothing left to live for. But you know what? That was probably, like, their ideal retirement, though, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because, like, they didn't have to worry about, like, stocks and stuff like that. They just had to, like, keep up appearances, really.
But they did worry about stocks.
Did they?
There were episodes where, like, because they'd listen to the radio and find out, like, their stock had gone down or they lost all their money, but then they got it all back, even though everybody thought they were dead.
Well, this island must have been really close to the mainland, I imagine.
It had to have been.
Like, it was, like, well, they only did a 3-hour tour, so you really can't get that far in 3 hours.
Well, it wasn't in the 3 hours. The storm hit in the 3 hours, and then they got blown around for a few days.
See, I don't know the theme. I only know the story by the theme song, and I can't quite remember the lyric that says they were blown around for a few days. And they were blown around for a few days. They were blown around for a few days.
That's not the way it goes, but...
See, that's the only reason I know that. But then there was Ginger, the movie star, and she like still thought she was like famous too.
Yeah.
Like they all lived up their characters, like their stereotypes while they were there.
And Marianne. good girl next door.
She can bake. She can sew maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Somebody had to make sure that those dresses stayed skin tight on
Ginger.
She wasn't sewing.
No, because she usually had like help.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this is the show that like Alf is in love with, and he must have like just recently discovered the show.
Yeah, he was probably like just sitting at home, going through the like maybe 20 channels they had, and like came across Gilligan's Island during like a little mini marathon, and became obsessed because it was so different than the life he had with the Tanners.
He was like, wait, what's this? So he basically got to experience everything we just discussed. And so this is basically Alf's whole life. So he was born on the planet Melmac, and the planet exploded, but he escaped in the nick of time, like in a little like space pod thing. And he crash lands into the Tanner's house in 1986-ish.
Yeah.
He crashes into their garage. And there's an alien task force. They suspect that some other form of life had entered the atmosphere, and they kind of want to like get to the bottom of it. And in this, like in the pilot episode, like the task force is like combing the neighborhood, and somehow Alf befriends the Tanner family, and he convinces them to like cover for me. So they do, and they basically just let this like otherworldly being live in the house and just share like everything basically. So like you don't know like any kind of like weird space diseases this creature might have. Like it could just like attack you in your sleep one day. Like you don't like there's it's the 80s. There's a lot.
Cat if you're not looking.
Yeah, because I mean they established that Alf eats cats. Lucky the cat is the Tanner cat, and I think like in the first season he was always chasing the cat around, but they kind of like quickly abandoned that storyline. Like they might have just like casually referenced it. Well, I think like Lucky and Alf became buddies in the long run.
Yeah, they kind of like got along, and then Alf decided not to eat Lucky.
But
it kind of got dropped like Alf drinking.
So they let Alf live in this house, and he basically just becomes like a huge liability.
He's like that relative you just can't get rid of after Thanksgiving dinner. The one who's not taking the hint that everybody's going to bed, and he's like, oh, let's play some more Scrabble. And you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, because he always goes into Kate and Willie Tanner's bedroom, like they're trying to sleep, and he's like always in the room. Like in this episode, he's in there like explaining them the plot to Gilligan's Island, and it's like they have probably like the Tanners have probably seen Gilligan's Island like 1,000 times. And he's talking about how there was like a cave woman who ended up on the island, and Gilligan might have had to marry her, but at the end Willie's like, let me guess, did she go back to her regular island and the castaways were still stranded? And Alf's like, yeah, did I give away the ending? And Willie's like, that's how every episode ends. He's like, it's the same thing. And then Alf's like, I must have overlooked the pattern.
Oh, Alf.
And it's kind of funny because like Alf kind of has the same pattern too. Every episode is just like a new gimmick. Mm-hmm. Like something that he gets involved in. Like, he's like some new scam or new scheme or just something new.
Where he's almost caught as an alien, but just lucky enough they didn't catch him.
Yeah, well, there was the neighbor, Mrs. Achmonic. She's not in this episode, the Gilligan's Island episode, but she's in other episodes. And like she like is the only other person who actually like ever sees Alf. Like she'll be like looking like she'll be like at her kitchen like doing dishes, and like Alf will be in the backyard, and she'll see Alf, and they'll make like eye contact, and he'll like run away. And she'll like try to explain to other people that like I saw some like furry beast in the backyard or something, like, and like no one believes her.
Yeah.
So like that.
She's basically their Mrs. Crumpet.
Yeah, exactly. And like that ends up being like a recurrent theme. And the actress who plays Mrs. Achmonic ends up going on to play Jerry Seinfeld's mom on Seinfeld.
Yes, she does. And I'm always like, oh, it's the neighbor from Alf. Every time I watch Seinfeld, and she's on.
Is her name Raquel Achmonic? Is that her name in Elf?
Yes.
I just always find that to be like the oddest name, Raquel.
Like it doesn't fit like the age of the character, I feel.
No, like obviously the first thing I think of is Raquel Welch.
Yeah.
And then then all of a sudden like I never think like Raquel Achmonic. Like I don't know.
Yeah. But to be fair, Almonic is her married name.
Is it? Oh yeah. Oh, I was
Yes.
thinking. I thought you said maiden. I thought you said maiden name. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Because I was like, wait. No, I think there's a Mr. Achmonic. But in like the later seasons of the show, the Achmonics have a nephew who like occasionally comes over, and he's like the only other person other than the Tanners who know about Alf.
Yeah.
Because I guess the premise must have just started to like wear really thin, you know?
Well, you kind of had to have somebody else find out and be trusted, or you were gonna have to like let Alf get caught, you know?
Which was how the series ended, on a complete cliffhanger too.
But that's why ABC gave them the movie 6 years later.
Project Alf?
Yes.
I remember, I saw that, but I don't remember the specific details of it, but I remember being kind of disappointed in it though.
Yeah.
Because I was expecting like a Tanner cameo, like even if it was just like the older sister, like anyone from the Tanner family. But like as soon as they became free of Alf, they must have just changed their last name and bailed, because
Probably Willie was probably like, I never have to see that alien again. Let's get out of here. Tie your hair black, kids.
Yeah, I forgot how much of a bitch Kate, the mom from Alf, was. Like, she was just so mean to Alf, like, horrible to him. But then again, he was a freeloading alien who just crash landed into their garage that they now have to support.
Yeah, and he's there all the time, and she's at home all the time. So she's the one who has to deal with him the most. How many times did you probably save the cat from being eaten by him? Like...
Plus, he probably costs the family like a lot of money, because in this episode he digs a lagoon in the backyard because he wants to recreate the set of Gilligan's Island. But like, how many other times has he like blown up the kitchen, or I don't know, just caused some kind of destruction? Like, well, first of all, he crashed into their roof, like their garage roof, in the first episode. So I mean, like, roof repairs is fucking like an ungodly amount of money to fix.
And he has 4 stomachs, so he's always eating.
Does he have 4 stomachs? Like,
yeah, he has like 4 stomachs.
That's kind of like, where would they go though? Because he's not that big.
I don't know. I mean, a stomach's not that big. A stomach's like the size of your fist.
Yeah, but he like is not that much bigger than the size of a fist, like his waist area.
I don't know. He's an alien though, so maybe he doesn't have all the organs we have taking up room inside his body.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, he probably doesn't have like a gallbladder or something.
Yeah, there's probably like no appendix.
What do you think of the puppetry in this show?
It's interesting. Like, I could see how it was such a hassle to film.
Whenever you see like a scene where Alf is talking, he's always like standing behind something. Like, he's either like he's behind the coffee table, he's like behind that like window that leads into the kitchen, or he's like at the kitchen table, or he's like standing behind something. Because I was reading that they built this like the set on like stilts. I don't know, I think it was like 4 or 5 feet like underneath, so like the puppeteer.
It was like 4 feet up. They built it up so that you could move with the puppets under the trap doors.
So they can like film him from different vantage points. So the actors, like, what they would have to, like, there's trap doors like on the set. So when they're walking around interacting with Alf, they have to like watch out for these like holes in the floor.
God, that would be a nightmare.
Yeah, so like, what was it, like, most sitcoms only take like a few hours, like no more than like 4 hours to film, but Alf took like 20 hours to film like a 20-minute episode.
Yeah. Like, you go to what, a recording of The Big Bang Theory, you're there for maybe like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
I think is like what I've seen. And this is taking like 20 hours, 25 hours. So it wasn't even shown in front of an audience. Like, I think they did what How I Met Your Mother did, which is then, like, once it was recorded, show it to an audience. And if people laughed at certain parts, that's where the laughs went.
They did like a closed set.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because there's probably so much like work. Because I think there was just the creator of the show. He was like the main puppeteer. He was like the only guy who was really doing it, I believe.
Yeah. He is the main puppeteer. And then he had 2 like assistants who helped with the parts. He couldn't physically control like the eyes and one of the arms.
Oh, okay. And then they would occasionally also do like action scenes with Alf. So like you'd actually see him like walking around like the set. So they would actually put like a little guy, like a little man,
Yes.
into like an elf suit. And it always looked really creepy because like the costume was completely different looking than the puppet. Like the face, like the facial features were much different, and like
it just didn't translate the same.
No, so it was just always like weird. So like they would only do it for like quick periods of time though. Like you wouldn't get long scenes of that. Like I think in the main, like the opening credits, they show him for like a few seconds because they do that like group shot of Alf with the Tanner family.
Yeah, they do this like family photo thing, which would not have happened because there's no way they wanted like photo evidence of some crazy alien hanging out with them.
Well, the theme song to Alf, so it's basically Alf finds like the family camcorder. It's like one of those like big bulky ones that you would have to like put on your shoulders, and he like runs around the house and he like interacts with all the family members. The funniest one though is he runs into like when Kate, the mom, is taking a shower, and he's like trying to like he like slides open the shower curtain, and she's like
after she's put her towel on.
Yeah, but like in real life that wouldn't have happened. You would have saw like a boob shot or something.
Oh yeah.
And
he's annoying parents in the bedroom.
Yep. So
Willie finally says, "If you leave, we'll build you a lagoon."
So Alf takes it that very night, I'm gonna go back and build a lagoon. So he basically just digs like it was probably like the size of like a small swimming pool.
Yeah, it's like it's really like 10. Yeah,
and kind of deep too.
It's big enough for Willie to fall in and move around it.
Yeah. So basically, Willie and Kate just want to go to bed. And they're like, Alf, if you just like leave the room, we'll let you like build your own lagoon tomorrow. And he's like, oh, really? All right. Peace out, guys. So like he immediately leaves and goes out back and like starts to build this lagoon. So the next morning, I think Kate was trying to take a bath.
Yeah.
And there was no water. And she's like, oh, there was no like water in the bath. And Willie's like, oh, Alf's like fur must have been like clogged the drains again. She's like, no, that's not it. Like, there was just no water coming out of the pipes. And he's like, oh, let me check the sink. And, like, the kitchen sink, and nothing came out. And then, like, I don't know, he looks out the window, and No. Actually, Alf's like, hey, Willie, come outside. I got a surprise for you. And Kate's like, uh-oh, Alf said the S word.
Yeah, that's kind of terrifying. Your little alien buddy has a surprise.
So Willie runs outside to, like, see what Alf's surprise is. Then you hear, like, a splash. And then it cuts to, like, the backyard now, and Alf's standing behind, like, a mound of dirt that he's dug up, and Willie is just, like, in this, like, wading pool of, like a dirty pool, basically. It's just, like, dirty brown water.
Yeah, because there's nothing between the dirt and the water. There's no cement or anything. There's not even, like, a tarp.
So he basically probably just, like, took the hose and just filled up this, like, pit.
Yeah.
I mean, Willie's like, Alf, what the hell is this? And he's like, oh, you said I could build a lagoon. He's like, I said you can build a little lagoon. What Alf did, it was like a fish pond, basically. You know those, like, Japanese fish ponds?
Yeah, koi pond.
Yeah, that's basically what Alf did. And then he like, kind of, like, tropicalized the shed into, like, a cabana.
Yeah.
And actually, I didn't think it was that bad of a set, though. I was kind of impressed, like, for what he did, like, overnight.
Of course, the question is, where did he get half this stuff?
Yeah, because he can't leave the... Well, actually... Technically, Alf can't leave the house, but he does. Like, basically what he does is, like, when he has to leave the house, he just wears, like, a hat, like a Sherlock Holmes, like, hat and trench coat, and just, like, leaves the house. He's, like, there's episodes where he drives.
Okay, Lee, I don't remember those.
Yeah, so, like, he occasionally, like, goes out. So he is wearing, like that, like, gray trench coat with, like, a hat. He interacts with people, and people don't, like, question it at all. It's kind of like, what's it called? What's that show on? Oh, American Dad. You know that like Family Guy ripoff, like spinoff, I guess.
Nobody questions that Roger.
Yeah. So
like alien, even though he's like this weird gray thing.
And he has like disguises.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's like a nod to Alf right there. Like totally a nod.
Probably is.
Totally a nod to Alf. Like there's just like an alien living in the house.
I bet it is.
And he like
knowing stuff from Colin.
So he probably went like overnight, like. I don't know, do you have like 24-hour Walmarts near you?
Yes.
So he probably went to one of those, and like you've seen the people that work there late at night. It's like a don't ask, don't tell policy. Yeah.
Like whatever.
Yeah, like whatever you want, whatever you need, like we'll be there. Like you wanted to buy a gun right now, that's fine. All right, we sell them in aisle 12. We won't enact the Brady law on you. No, there's some strange characters in Walmart late at night. I've had many a drunk late night adventures at the 24-hour Walmart.
Same. I had friends who would save their grocery shopping for the middle of the night.
It'll be like a blizzard, and like you need something. Like you be like, shit, I need batteries, and like the only place that you know that's open is Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
And like no one else is going to Walmart, so it's just like it's like the island of misfit toys.
I can't even imagine.
All right, so Alf basically builds this lagoon in his backyard, and Willie is pissed off. And he's like, "You need to like dig this back up." And he's like, "It's gonna take me 6 weeks." And he's like, "6 weeks?" He's like, "You basically created this lagoon in like 4 hours." He's like, "Yeah, but I wanted to do that. I don't want to like destroy it." So Willie's like, "You need to get this done, like ASAP." He's like, I gotta go back in the house because I'm gonna have a coronary, basically, is what he says. So he goes back in the house, and Alf like immediately takes a break, and he falls asleep.
Yeah.
And he has a dream that he's like on Gilligan's Island. Like he like wakes up and he's like in an episode of Gilligan's Island, and Gilligan and Skipper are like they're fishing, right? Aren't they fishing or something?
Yeah, they're trying to fish, trying to get some protein.
And like it's just the usual Gilligan's Island like hijinks where like he like throws the rod, and like the hooks like the skipper's hat, and it goes in the water, and then like he like pulls it back up, and then he puts the white hat on the skipper's head, and like all the water splashes down, and the skipper smacks him across the face with it. And then you hear like Alfie's like, "Ha! Ha!" Like, "You slay me," basically. And
yeah, Alf is in heaven because this is like his dream right here.
And he's like hiding behind like a bush or something. So like Gilligan and Skipper, they like are like, "What is that?" So they look over, and they see Alf. And like your normal thought would be like, "There's a fucking monster on the island. Like, what the hell is that thing?" But they just like immediately like befriend him.
Well, he's obviously the key to them getting off the island.
Yeah,
duh.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right. I didn't think of that.
I mean, it's not like he was a polar bear.
From Lost, like, well,
yeah.
Could you imagine if Alf, like, the Alf came out now and he was watching Lost and they did like a Lost flashback?
Oh my god, that'd be crazy.
Because Sawyer was like, no questions asked. He just shot that polar bear in the forehead. Alf would have been like, he would have had an apple stuffed in his mouth, and he'd been like roasting over an open fire. And John Locke would have been standing over him with like knives on his belt. Then Michael would have been running around the island going, "Walt! Walt! Alf!" So, Alf, he knows a lot about the castaways. So like Gilligan's like, or Gilligan and the skipper are like, "Wait, how do you like know all this stuff about us? It's really creepy. Like, have you been studying us? Do you have like a secret file?" Like, this actually gets pretty Lostish right here, because like, you know how like the others in quotations, they had like that all those files on the castaways. So basically, like, Alf is kind of like the Benjamin Linus of this like fantasy sequence, and they take Alf back to the camp. Mary Ann's like cooking or whatever. The professor's there, and he's like, "Oh, where's the Howells and like Ginger?" And like
playing golf or something
on the other side of the island.
Yeah.
So I was kind of curious, because I'm like, you know what? There has to be a reason why the others aren't there. So the actress that plays Ginger, she was like supposedly filming a movie at the same time. I heard rumors that she was always kind of like a bitch to work with, though.
Well, she wasn't, like, down to do the Gilligan reunion movies either, so... I don't think she's supposed to do any Gilligan Island, like, episodes of another show when, like, they flash back to Gilligan's Island. I don't think she ever shows up. Bob Denver shows up, Dawn Wells shows up, the professor would show up, but Ginger never shows up.
I mean, I'm not, like, a famous Hollywood actor or anything, but if I found, like, one little thing that caught on, I would just fucking totally live it up.
Yeah.
Like, even if I was, like, Eddie Munster, I would just, like, ride it out. Like, you know what, I'm just gonna ride this out, see where it takes me. No, Butch Patrick, what's his name?
Something like that, I don't know.
Yeah, he still dresses up like Eddie Munster today, and he's, like, 67 years old.
Well, the guy who played the Beav, he still does stuff as the Beaver.
Yeah, like, you just ride it out. That's what people want to see. They live on forever, so you're gonna, like, impact, like, a whole new audience of people.
Exactly.
Do the convention circuits. Don't be a prude.
Exactly, like the horror movie guys. Do your convention circuit, get your money, you know, you deal with fans like, 3 times a year, Maybe more if you go to, like, every convention, like, in a year. But what else are you going to do? Hang out in the gas station down the block or something?
Yeah, don't be a prude, Ginger. Don't be a prude. And then, I think the only reason the Howells weren't in it is because they were, like, 90 at the time. Like, this episode came out, so they were,
Yeah, they're pretty old. They
like,
only had a few years left at
they were
this point.
dying, and they were like, just let me be. I just want to be. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. So, the professor creates, like, a color TV, basically, at this point in time.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we're going to watch a favorite new TV show, The Tanner Family. And it's basically like they're watching the Tanners on television, and they're, like, having, like, all this...
First, I thought they were watching Full House.
Oh, because of the Tanners?
I was like, why are they watching Full House? Because I forgot the name of the family was the Tanners.
And so, like...
I was so confused why they were watching Full House on Al.
I don't think Full House was even, like, born yet.
No, it wasn't. That's part of why I was so confused.
So, basically, like, all the things that Alf was complaining about earlier in their episode is, like, what the castaways from Gilligan's Island, like, missed. Because, like, I think earlier in the episode, Willie was eating a apple pie.
Yes.
And, like, Alf's like, oh, he's like, that's so basic of you. Like, it's like the pumpkin spice. You're like a tween white girl, Willie. Like,
You're just like a basic white girl.
Yeah.
With your pumpkin spice latte.
Like, apple pie, like, oh, like, get out of my face. And he's like, Alf, why? Why must you do this to me? Like, I'm surprised, like, Willie, I keep calling him Alf. I'm surprised that Willie didn't die, like, drop dead of a heart attack in, like, the first, like, 12 episodes.
Seriously, Alf drove him insane.
He's like, Alf, why? Like, why do you do this to me? And then, now, like, in the Tanner TV show in Gilligan's Island Land, they were like, oh, we're gonna, like, let's enjoy an apple pie. And, like, Gilligan, Skipper, the Professor Marianne were like, oh my god, what I would do just to have an apple pie. And Gilligan's like, yeah, I'm getting sick of these freaking cream coconut pies that Marianne keeps making. And Alf's like, what? Really? Like, this is my dream. And they're like, my dream? Like, we've been here for 23 years. And I think this is where Gilligan says, like, yeah, now I'm in my 40s. Like, I thought Gilligan was in his 40s when Gilligan's Island originally came out.
No, Gilligan was young. He was in his 20s.
Was he really?
Yes. Well, before that, Bob Denver was on the Dobie Gillis show, and he played Maynard G. Krebs.
All right. I don't... Like, it's... My whole, like, perception of age is just completely warped. Because, like, the characters from Gilligan's Island, they just seemed like so much like adults. And then, well, Bob Denver did, he never really, like, got away from being Gilligan, so, like, he would always do, like, appearances and stuff.
Yeah.
So you kind of, like, saw him a lot, so you got, like, to see him as, like, an old man. So I guess that's why I was just, like, really surprised when I saw that he was, like, 40 years old in 1986. He recently died, didn't he?
Yeah, he died a few years ago.
So, like, he must have been young then.
Only living castaways are Marianne and Ginger.
Oh, I was thinking that Ginger might have even been dead, but...
No, she's still alive. She was, I think she was last seen on the final episodes of All My Children.
Oh, really? Marianne or Ginger?
Ginger.
Ginger, okay. I wonder if they have Twitters. Maybe we can reach out to them. Maybe they can give us a soundbite.
I think Tina Louise does have a Twitter.
Hold on. What's her name? Tina Louise?
Yeah.
I'll tell you in a few seconds. Maybe we can tweet her tonight. Maybe we can get her to, like, call in. You know what? She does have a Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? No, that was a fake one. I'm sorry. No, I don't think that's her, though. It's, like, at Tina Louise, but it's a picture of an egg. Like, the Twitter egg. So I don't think it's her. Unless she's just not computer savvy and she just never figured out how to upload a picture.
Well, Dawn Wells is on Twitter.
What's her Twitter?
The Real Marianne.
So it's at The Real Marianne?
Yep.
Is it ANN or ANNE?
Yeah, it's ANN.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to follow her. She only has like 5,000 followers?
Yeah, I just followed her too.
Alright, I want to, we should tweet her and be like, hey, we have a podcast. We just did the episode of Alf where he flashes back to Gilligan's Island, but we are going to do Gilligan's Island soon. Want to call in and give... Well, she doesn't have to call in. She just can give us a soundbite like, hey, y'all. Actually, hold on. 6 days... She's going to be in Boston this week.
Really?
She's heading to a New England this week. Hold on. Let me read a little more about this. This is a tweet from her from 6 days ago. I'm excited, heading to New England this weekend. Does anyone have a suggestion for the best lobster in Boston? If you notice, we have trouble trapping them in Nevada. Hope to meet you face-to-face at the Jimmy Fun event in Boston Thursday, October 23rd. Is that tomorrow?
Yes, it is.
Holy fuck, I'm going there. Hold on, let me see. Jimmy Fun event. Boston. It's going to be raining, though. Fuck. I don't want to go over there when it's raining. Hold on, let me see where it is. Alright, I'm just trying to see where the location is. Alright, there's a few of them. There's the Raise Your Glass. Oh, I want to go to this one. This one sounds fun. Raise Your Glass for Jimmy. It's a wine tasting. It's $50 to get in. It's tomorrow night. Holy fuck, I'm going to have to... Oh, fuck, I'm leaving, though. It's a wine tasting, and it's $50 to get in. $25 is donated to charity, and you get to taste all the wine you want. Alright, so basically, Alf has his Gilligan's Island fantasy.
Yeah.
How does he get out of the dream?
They just told him to go back to digging.
They want him to, like, go to work. Like, they were like, yeah, no, you know what? Fuck this. Like, you're a fucking furry beast. You're gonna be our slave, basically. Like, they were promoting slavery here.
Well, you got an alien who can dig, so you might as well use him to make your mini golf course.
That's what they wanted. They wanted a mini golf course. So they want him to bury the lagoon, which... Isn't, like, a lagoon technically, like, that whole, like, inlet of water that is, like, in front of Gilligan's Island?
Yeah, I think it is.
Like, how can you technically fill it up with sand, though?
I don't know. It would take a lot of sand. She'd, like, basically lose the island.
You would have figured the professor would have figured this out, right?
He can't figure out how to build something to get off the island. You really think he's going to figure out that moving sand around isn't really going to build him a mini golf course?
Yeah, I guess you're right. So this is a question, only because I really don't know the answer to this. So I guess Gilligan's Island ended with them never getting off the island?
Correct. Okay, but there are 2 TV movies about Gilligan's Island.
And do they get off the island?
Yeah, there's one where they get off the island, and they, like, go and they try to get back their lives, but none of them are happy. And they all reunite for Christmas, and the skipper has a new boat, so they decide to go for a little sail, and, guess what happens? They end up back on the island.
So it's like, we have to go back! It's like Jack again. Jack Shepherd. Like...
There's another one where the house has decided to build a hotel on the island, and everybody gets, like, a share of the hotel, and everybody lives on the island, and they run a hotel, and the whole Harlem Globetrotters are there.
So they basically make the island, like, it's travelable? Like, you can get to and fro?
Yeah.
Okay.
And turn it into a resort and stuff.
Because I always have this, like, weird, like, sick sitcom fantasy that, like, someday there'll be, like, a television series. Like, I could picture Family Guy doing this for some reason. Uh-huh. Like, where they're on an island and you just see, like, a bunch of bones.
Oh, that's so sad.
And it's the bones of Gilligan's Island. But I'm surprised they didn't try to, like, procreate.
Okay, so you're Mary Ann or Ginger. Who do you want to sleep with? Gilligan, the skipper, or the professor?
I don't know, maybe the professor, I guess.
Yeah. Like, I refuse to believe they were on that island for so long, nobody ever got a little frisky.
Yeah, like, even the castaways on Lost, like, things got a little, questionable.
A little?
Yeah. So basically, Alf wakes up from his dream, and he's back in the Tanner, backyard, and he's like, shit. Yeah. He's like, you know what? He realizes it. He's like, you know, these guys, like, put up with me. I fucking crash landed into their garage roof. They probably paid, like, hundreds of thousands of dollars to repair that. Like, I basically live here free of charge. I eat all their food. I am constantly, like, cruel to them. I'm rude to them. I'm crass. I get hair everywhere, like, fur everywhere.
You never know when the government's going to come and try and take me away.
Yeah, they cover for me. They cover for me when Mrs. Ochmonic is, like, lurking about.
Yeah, when she's in her Mrs. Kravitz mood.
Yeah, like, she's like, you know, these are good people. He's like, I'm going to stand by them. And, you know, he's done with Gilligan's Island, so he He comes back in the house. There's that moment where he realizes all this, and he's telling Kate that he loves her meatloaf and her apple pies, and then we kind of get that like heartfelt sitcom ending, and then I think we come back to a point where now Willie looks out, like Alf is missing, and Willie looks outside, and he's like, "Oh my god!" And Kate's like, "What?" And he's like, "Looks like Alf has been watching too much Bonanza."
Yeah, he's like a horse in the backyard or something.
There was like a stagecoach. Wasn't the stagecoach?
Yeah.
So
well, you know what? I think the stages were the same for Gilligan's Island and one of those westerns like Bonanza or something.
Oh, so is that like a callback?
Yeah. It's like Gilligan's Island, you'd have the lagoon 3 days a week, or 2 days a week or something, and then the rest of the time it was the western set.
It was the Old West?
Yeah.
Did they just like flip the set around?
Something like that. Like they pulled up the lagoon, beach, and brought in the Old West.
I miss like the old like simple like television series sets where it's just like you only had to deal with like they would do like a sitcom and they would just like be in like 2 rooms of a house.
Yeah, you don't get that very often anymore.
No, now they do that like single camera thing where like they're just like they're all over the place.
Yeah, see, I'm not a fan of the single camera stuff for the most part.
Alright, so join us on the next episode where we are going to do Everybody Loves Raymond, the Tofu Turkey episode, which we believe is season 3, but just wait a week and you'll see the episode description. And
it is season 3, no fat.
Alright, you've been warned. You have 1 week to watch this. And until next time...